I'll admit it, I love watching Tradwife TikToks. They're so calm, so clean. Everyone looks like they smell like cinnamon and approval. But then I remember some of these women are saying feminism went too far. So I started digging. Who are they really? What's the vibe here? And what does it mean when being submissive is suddenly the ultimate flex? So what is a Tradwife exactly? If you've never heard the term, Tradwife means traditional wife. It's a lifestyle brand built around a few reoccurring ideas. Roles. The wife stays home, raises kids, runs the household, and the husband leads and provides or something. Virtues. Modesty, obedience or submission, service to family, domestic mastery, cooking from scratch and homeschooling and homesteading and growing things and playing around with sourdough. Vibe. 1950s housewife, shot in 4K with a brand deal. Think prairie dresses, neutral palettes, hand-churned butter, and captions like, being a wife is my full-time job. Tradwife creators often insist it's not political in any way. It's just my personal choice. But the look carries a worldview. Who women are for, what families should look like, and whose labor stays invisible. From girl boss to God's princess, Tradwives didn't appear out of nowhere. They're a reaction to burnout. After a decade of lean-in pep talks, hustle culture, and grind harder than your ex quotes, a lot of women are exhausted. And the platforms totally know it. Tradwife content feels like rebellion against capitalism and chaos and emails. One researcher put it perfectly. Domesticity reemerges as rebellion, but only when curated through ring lights and brand deals. We went from lean in to lie down, and honestly, mood. But there is a bit of a twist. The girl boss and the Tradwife play the same game. Both monetize womanhood. One sells you power suits and the other sells pastel aprons. It's not anti-capitalist if your pantry is sponsored by Le Creuset. The feminist paradox, aka it's my choice. Tradwife influencers love a phrase that sounds modern and empowering. I'm not anti-feminist, I'm choosing this. That's what scholars call choice feminism. The idea that any choice a woman makes counts as feminist, even if it reinforces the same power structure feminism tried to dismantle. As cultural theorist Kathy Rottenberg puts it, freedom becomes the capacity to make the right choices within constraint. In other words, you can pick any path you want, as long as it looks good on Pinterest and pleases your husband. So as long as you choose to iron your husband's shirts and call it, I don't know, divine femininity or something, it's empowerment. Which is kind of like saying if you choose to live in a cage, it's feminist as long as you got to pick the wallpaper. And I'm not judging. I'm seriously not. I'm kind of jealous. We all want to stop feeling like slaves to capitalism. I get the idea that if you're going to slave away for somebody, it may as well be your kids and your husband who you love, not just some random boss who doesn't give a shit about you. I get it, but it's a paradox. These Tradwives are using the very freedoms feminism fought for, the right to work, the right to earn, vote, and publicly express themselves, to promote a fantasy where those freedoms supposedly aren't needed. They build huge online brands preaching submission while raking in ad revenue from Maybelline and KitchenAid. Some of them say feminism ruined femininity while filming sponsored content about a sourdough starter. It's leaning in, but for God and your husband. And yes, it's mostly marketed through the language of soft life. Slow mornings, linen dresses, sunlight through the kitchen window, not the reality of economic dependence, lost autonomy, or limited exit options. The algorithm loves a housewife. Tradwife content works because it's calm, repetitive, and predictable. It's like visual melatonin with a little side of gender roles. One study describes how aesthetic repetition becomes a form of persuasion. So the more you watch, the more your feed fills with linen and lullabies and freshly baked compliance. The economics of submission. For people rejecting careerism, Tradwives are very good at business. Plenty make six figures through content or merch and paid partnerships. One analysis sums it up. Influencers sell liberation through consumption. The home becomes both workplace and product. So they didn't quit work, they just moved the office to the kitchen. Hannah Neelman says she isn't a tradwife. She's also co-CEO of a luxury farm empire. Nara Smith says she's a working mum, not anti-feminist, and she's built a huge brand around slow, aesthetic homemaking. She cooks insane meals from scratch in like Met Gala outfits. I really like her, sorry. In both cases, though, the career is built on rejecting careers. It's like a pyramid scheme, but the pyramid is made of focaccia and affiliate codes. The privilege of simplicity. Here is the uncomfortable truth, my feminist yarns aside. The tradwife lifestyle only works if you can afford it. Homeschooling, baking from scratch, slow living, and staying home to nurture your family all sound very wholesome, but they require time, money, and stability. You can't slow down if you're worried about rent. You can't spend 6 hours perfecting some bread if you're working 2 jobs. Tradwives often frame their content as an escape from capitalism, but the real escape hatch is class privilege. The women who can live this way tend to be the ones whose husbands earn enough to make domesticity optional rather than compulsory. And yes, they have their own money, but they didn't just start this TikTok account at their fancy luxury farm on their own. It's easy to reject hustle culture when your husband's hustle already paid off. Dream, again, not judging, I'm jealous as fuck. Why it feels so good, even if you hate it. At its core, the tradwife fantasy is about control. When the world feels as chaotic as it does, control looks like calm. These videos offer a universe where everything's like soft, certain, and color coordinated. Where women know their place, they're happy in it, the men provide, and the babies never spit up on the carpet. It's comforting, it's beautiful, and it's fake. You don't need to be right-wing or Christian to get pulled in. We're all tired. We're all sick of working all day and night. We all want peace. Some of us find it in therapy and others find it in hand-churned butter. So that's the kind of magic trick to it. The tradwife makes patriarchy look relaxing. And I don't hate tradwives, not even a little bit. I'm low-key very jealous. If you want to stay home, raise kids, bake breads, do it. That's what feminism is for. If somebody wanted to pay for me to try and do that, I would do it. What makes me uneasy is the messaging. Selling submission as empowerment while profiting from the freedoms you claim to transcend. Telling women to depend on men while you're the breadwinner. Preaching simplicity while you're editing life like a brand campaign. And promising peace while rehearsing perfection. So no, this isn't the opposite of feminism. Not at all. It's kind of feminism for the algorithm. It's the girl boss in an apron. So maybe the point isn't to cancel tradwives. It's to ask why their fantasy feels safer than the world feminism actually built. You made it to the end. Well done. Now make sure you subscribe because we do this 5 days a week, and subscribing is the best way to make sure that I can keep doing it. And I'm also really nosy and I want to continue being nosy. If you're interested in stuff like this, I would check out the video I did just the other day about why white women always be voting Trump. Spoiler alert, it's not just religion. It's a big part, but there's a lot more going on there. Bye.